Yo, what is up guys? Today we're going to be making this fun little app. Starting out in Sketch, I've created these designs. I gave a little credit to the image for the Leprechaun and the gold pot. The rest of the stuff I made, and I'll be providing the graphics in the description below. But basically this is the app we're going to be building, just to show you kind of like the process. You get design and then we build off of the design. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm not building the starting page, but if you want to, you can do that later. Let's head to Xcode and open up a new project. You can name it whatever you would like. We're going to be writing in Swift. Click Next and create it wherever you would like. First thing we need to do is pull in our assets, and I will be providing that in the description below. It'll probably be like a Dropbox link or something like that. You guys, just so I don't get in trouble for like copyright stuff, you guys should find your own Leprechaun and gold, and I'll provide the rainbow and the background because I created both of those. Just like go to Google and search like gold and then drag in the image. That's all you got to do. Let's head to our main storyboard and let's get working. I'm going to fast forward through the process of me doing this just because I don't want to waste you guys' time. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I will help you out. I want to align it to the super view instead of the base view. And then we want to set the image to background. And we want to set this to aspect fill. Perfect. We have 4 little rainbows here in the Leprechaun. So let's add in a couple buttons. Perfect. Now we're going to add a Leprechaun down at the bottom of the screen. And we're using a button just so that when we can like restart the game when you tap on the Leprechaun. If you use an image view, you need to add like a tap indicator on it, but the UI button comes with a lot of things that are convenient for IB actions. So we're just going to use a button at the bottom. Boom. Now we're going to head over to our view controller and start writing some functions. The idea of this app is when the user taps on the rainbow, if there is no pot of gold behind it, then it disappears. And if there is a pot of gold behind it, we show the pot of gold, and then we also show the Leprechaun because he's happy he found a pot of gold. So one thing about that is we need to actually need to hide the Leprechaun by default, and then if they tap on the right rainbow, then we present the Leprechaun, which will be the restart button as well. But let's head to the code. So one thing we're going to need is like the position of that gold. So we're going to call it gold position, and we're going to set it as a default to 0, but it's going to be a random number. So with this function randomize gold, basically whenever it gets called, it's going to randomize a number between 1 and 4, and we're going to match that to the tags of the buttons, which I haven't set, but I will set those here in a second. So anytime we start this, we need to randomize this, so it's going to be either 1, 2, 3, or 4 based off of this method right here. Okay, and then after that, let's create like what the game over state should be. When the game is over, our Leprechaun needs to hide, and then any pot of gold or any rainbow that doesn't have a pot of gold behind it needs to also be hidden. So that's kind of what we're writing here. And then we also need to reset the gold position. So every time you play the game, you don't want the gold position to be the same. So this will help and reset that number. It could possibly be the same, but it's not always going to be the same. We need to get our stack view rainbows in here. So at IB action, or IB outlet, sorry, weak var rainbows. It's a stack view. Did I say collection? I meant stack view. So our stack view is over here. It has, it has two stack views with inside of it, which is why we're doing a little for loop twice. Let's link that up right there. So the first time we're going to do a for loop for both of these items, and then we're checking inside of each of these to make sure if there's no pot of gold behind it that it's hidden. And then we also want to show the leprechaun, so let's link that up. Let's go back over here. And now our leprechaun is linked up to hide and show. Sweet. And now let's create the IB action. So every time we click on the rainbow, we can either hide it or show it. So it's either the user wins the game if there's a pot of gold behind it, if it's the gold position, or otherwise we're just gonna dismiss that pot of gold. You can do anything you want, but we're just gonna dismiss that pot of gold. So I created a IB action called rainbow selected. And if the button that was tapped's tag is not the gold position, which we've randomized each time the user starts the game, then we're going to hide it. Otherwise, we're going to set that button to the gold because they clicked on the gold rainbow, and then we're going to call our game over method, which shows the leprechaun and hides any of the other gold pots, or I mean any other rainbows, and then it also re-randomizes the gold position. Okay. But we need to set up these tags because we haven't done that. So on each button, there's a little tag right here, and we're going to set from 1 all the way up to 4. Okay, that's also what our gold position is randomized between. Perfect. And then our final method is just like to call the restarting of the game, and that's right here. So because we're hiding the rainbows right here, we need to, when we restart, we need to show those rainbows again. So we're showing we're hiding the leprechaun when a new game is started, and then we're going through this collection views, and each button, if it's not a button, which it is, but just in case, if it wasn't a button, then we're going to return. But since it is a button, we're going to show it, we're going to show the rainbows, and we're going to make sure and reset the pot of gold to rainbow. Okay, so that should be all we need to do programmatically speaking. It's a really simple app, honestly, but we do need to link up these IB actions. So rainbow selected is a touch up inside. And then for the leprechaun, we're going to, whenever the leprechaun is tapped, we're going to restart the game. So everything should be working. Let's run this app. So when we click on a rainbow, if there's nothing, no gold behind it, it disappears. But if there is gold, the leprechaun is happy. Let's see something real quick. I think I messed up on the naming of this, but I did change it. I just remembered in it. Yeah, so right here when we were setting the image named gold, I had it like, the resource was little g instead of a capital G. So that was why the image wasn't showing up. Let's rerun that. Yay, gold. So now each time it's a random pot of gold. This is kind of interesting how it pops up at the top, depending on which part of the stack view, but that's not really a big deal. Hopefully you guys had fun making this app. Definitely going through the motions of creating new apps can help you with your development. Even if it's really simple, there's still things that can be learned. You can memorize new practices, things like that. But I appreciate you guys watching all the way through to the end of the video. I would encourage you guys to expand on this app, make something cool. If you do, please let me know. I'm thinking about doing some like giveaways and things like that for cool like upgrades on the apps that I've built. So you follow the tutorial, you build something, but then you expand upon that. I'm thinking about doing some giveaways. So just let me know what you guys think about that, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Happy St. Patrick's Day if you're watching this today. And if you haven't hit the sub button, what are you waiting for? Hit the sub button. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, always drop them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.